Welcome to Tyria, warriors, travelers, and heroes. It's festival time in Tyria again, and it's time for the annual Lunar New Year celebration. You'll find lanterns and fireworks and feasting galore. So, if you need to stock up on luck for the coming year, go hit the like button and, subscribe. As a warning, this video does contain spoilers for the story of Guild Wars 2. Alright, let's get into it. Here in Divinity's Reach, the celebrations are kicking off with fireworks, events, and of course, vendors. The streets are packed with revelers, the air is thick with the smells of festival food, and the skies are alight with flame. You can travel the long road from your capital city through the farmlands and fields of the human settlements to reach the city. You can take the Asur gates or use waypoints if you've got the coin, or you can hitch a ride on a magical celestial dragon. They've been dispatched to various places around Tyria, mainly in the capital cities and at the Eye of the North. They don't charge for their services, and you won't have to worry about bandits or skrit along the road. When you arrive, you'll find yourself shoulder to shoulder with your fellow heroes, ready to win some prizes and light up the sky with fireworks. Canthan livery adorns the buildings and streets. If you're Tyrian, then you've likely already celebrated the changing of the seasons, but over in Cantha, they do it a bit differently. What is the Lunar New Year? Well, for that, we'll have to discuss the Canthan way of keeping time a little bit. Keeping an eye on the time of year and the seasons is incredibly important. From ensuring that crops are planted when they should be, planning travel and trade when the lands will be easiest to cross, and making sure that there's still a lot of time before the next waking of the dragon cycle, so you won't have to worry about cataclysmic eruptions of magic all over the place. Also, you want to make sure you've got enough firewood to last the winter. Stuff like that. In Tyria, we use what's called the Movelian calendar, named after Grand Patriarch Movil, perhaps the first High Priest of the Church of Dwyna. The Movelian calendar begins at the time of the Exodus of the Six Gods and progresses into the modern era from there. BE for before Exodus and AE for after Exodus. The calendar is broken into 4 seasons: Zephyr, Phoenix, Scion, and Colossus, each of which contains 90 days, except for Colossus, which contains 95. It's simple, and most Tyrian history is recorded using this system, but in Cantha, it's done a little differently. The Canthan calendar follows the movements of stars and celestial bodies. As such, their years, while similar to Movelian years, are divided differently and are associated with constellations and tied to beings called Celestials. The Celestials are beings made from starlight and act as guiding spirits, taking the forms of various animals as seen by Canthan astronomers. There are 12 of these beings tied to the passing of a year, and each is honored in some way during the Lunar New Year. The Canthan year has only 360 days compared to the Movelian 365. The year is divided not into seasons, but into 12 separate months of 30 days each. The Canthan calendar uses different historical points as references for its beginnings. As a result, the Canthan reckoning of dates differs from the Movelian, such that the current year of 1338 AE corresponds to the Canthan year 1848 CC. The years occur on a rotating cycle of years, each associated with one of the 12 Celestials. These are rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, sheep, monkey, rooster, and dog. Once the cycle of years has passed, it begins again. There was once a time when the Canthan calendar was divided further into ages, starting from the beginning of the Canthan calendar, which would have been around 510 BE, up to the Age of the Dragon, which corresponded to around 1382 AE. This system does not appear to be of relevance in the modern Canthan reckoning. At any rate, this year we celebrate the Year of the Horse, a celestial being of great power and speed, and to that end, there's a lot of celebrating to do, and lots of loot to get. The festival was brought to Tyria, specifically to Kryta, some time ago, likely by Canthans who remained after the closing of trade with Cantha, which began around 902 AE. The cultural traditions of Cantha were kept alive in Kryta, and their Lunar New Year celebrations were kept as part of their heritage. Even after the opening of trade once again between Cantha and Kryta, the seasonal festival has remained recognizable. Among the items we should be on the lookout for during the Lunar New Year, the trade item of most interest are the beautifully gilded lucky envelopes, which contain prizes of all kinds. These items are obtained by purchasing them from a vendor in the Crown Pavilion. They can be purchased for gold or even cheaper if you have a token of the Celestial Champion, which can be obtained from completing festival achievements. The envelopes contain a wondrous array of things, from luck boosts, festival foods, novelties, accessories, and appearances, fireworks, weapons, trophies, and much more. There are several types that can be obtained, from little lucky envelopes with more common loot inside, divine lucky envelopes with a chance to find much rarer items, and Dragon Ball Champion's divine lucky envelopes, which can be purchased with tokens of the Dragon Ball Champion, obtained by winning rounds of Dragon Ball. More on that later. The tokens used to purchase new envelopes are obtainable by completing events, as I described a moment ago, and there are a few events worth doing if you feel like getting your hands on some sweet festival loot. Among the activities you can participate in is the highly competitive Dragon Ball Arena. Bring your best dodge mechanics for this one. If you accept this challenge, you'll be sent to the Dragon Ball Arena, where you'll join a team in a maze-like space, filled with obstacles and helpful features like jump pads. You'll have a series of skills, unlike those you normally use for combat, and a separate health bar. The goal is, as a team, to reduce to 0 the health of all members of the opposing team using those skills. There are all kinds of useful strategies, but most important is to work together. It's a tough battle, but if you keep your wits about you and stay together, you'll get through it. The other big event is the Celestial Challenge, in which you'll have to complete a series of 12 challenges, each representing one of the 12 Celestials. These are dynamic events, and each occurs in succession. You'll have a few minutes of downtime between each one to prepare. You'll also gain a Celestial's Blessing, which will increase one attribute or another to help you in each challenge. You'll also gain a special action skill as a helping hand from the Celestial of each challenge. As a reward, you'll get access to chests filled with treasures and potentially some highly useful loot. As with most seasonal festivals, there are races to partake in for prizes. Racing around the Crown Pavilion and passing through various hoops and markers within a certain time is the key here. And of course, there are a series of smaller achievements and dailies for smaller rewards, such as lighting firecrackers, completing various achievements in other maps, and finishing events a certain number of times. Lots of cool stuff to do, and the rewards are worth the danger. Not just what you find, but what you can buy from the merchants around the Crown Pavilion. At this time of year, the pavilion is filled with folks, some strolling around taking in the sights, some participating in the various events, and others taking advantage of the crowds to make some coin. Merchants come from far and wide to sell their wares at the festivals, and the Lunar New Year is no different. One of the first you'll likely visit is Phaedra, who will sell you envelopes in exchange for money, tokens, or both. She lets you know it's for a good cause, and the prizes are great, though it's easy to spend all your gold real fast, so be careful. Next to her stands the Lunar New Year prize vendor, offering minis and other miscellaneous goods, often for coin or a mix of money and prize items or resources. You can find some fun trinkets here, including some Lunar New Year themed minis. The New Year weapons vendor has a hefty list of weapons for purchase if you've unlocked the correct achievements from the New Year achievement list. You can trade luck to the New Year rewards vendor for a small selection of items, including weapon unlocks and other currency. Further on are two of our Coden friends from the Lowland Shore. Come up to help with the festivities and make a few gold before heading home. Sparking Stone awaits to sell us an array of unique weapons, which we can add to our collection, and of course, there's Def Lahar. Def Lahar is selling homestead goods, all kinds of items from themed statues to decorative plushies to cozy up the place. He'll also sell us some collection books. He's trading for luck this time of year, so be sure to have plenty on hand. Of course, as I mentioned every festival, it's not festival time in Tyria without a visit from Drubert's ghost. He can be found in the Crown Pavilion, and curiously, he seems to be frozen inside a large block of ice. It doesn't seem to bother him much. He is a ghost after all. Must have been some Winter's Day shenanigans. We can donate some luck to him, or a lot of luck if we're feeling particularly generous. Again, not much will come of it, but there's likely some achievements to be had. Drubert isn't the only one looking for some donations though. A little further into the pavilion, you'll come across some curious looking creatures. These are the Celestial Pigs, each of which will ask for donations of a specific festival related foodstuff. They don't offer anything in exchange, but it's nice to be kind, and again, there's an achievement to be completed. Speaking of festival related foods though, Canton cuisine's always been popular in Tyria. It wasn't always easy to come across when the borders were closed, but since the incident with Suwon and the Aetherblades changed everything, cultural goods are being shared much more openly. Most of these foods cooked for the Lunar New Year give us boosts to our luck, particularly to our magic find, as a tribute to the soul of the festival, which is all about luck. Grain and rice is a staple of Canton cooking, and rice balls offer a major boost to both healing and magic find. Spring rolls are light, nourishing, and increase our concentration, swiftness, and magic find. The sweet bean buns help with condition duration, expertise, and magic find. Fried golden dumplings increase concentration and magic find, and grant a chance to gain might. And steamed red dumplings grant power on kill, condition damage, and of course, magic find. There's plenty to eat, but these New Year foods are really helpful if you're out treasure hunting. And the Celestial Pigs love them too. Besides food stuff, there's some other items worth looking for if you enjoy adding some celestial beings to your outfits. The backpack lanterns available through vendors or sometimes the Black Line Trading Company are great reminders of the festival all year round. The Lunar New Year is all about attracting luck for the coming 360 days. Or 365 if you go by the Movalian calendar. If you participate in the festival and help out with the quests, the Celestials will surely send some your way. You'll be finding more magic items in no time, I'm sure. The thing about luck is that it's best when spread around. Give some to your neighbors, donate some to Drubert, exchange some for cool weapons and armor. Whatever brings you joy. Just don't keep it all to yourself. Festival season is about sharing. So mount up and make your way to Divinity's Reach for the New Year's celebration. There's tons to do and see. You might get some of the stuff you've been trying to get your hands on all year. you know, if you're lucky. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate everyone who does, especially if you stick around to the end. If you liked the video, please hit like. And if you really liked it, hit subscribe. And you know, let me know what you think in the comments. Oh, and before you go, I want to give a shout out to my patrons who help support the channel. Our $10 patron is Wachuki at the artisan level. Head on over and sign up for some extra videos I don't put on the channel. It'd really help me out. And remember, it doesn't matter how many stacks of luck you have, you can't outrun poorly aimed fireworks. Thank you all. Bye, Internet.